You don't seem alarmed.
Would it help?
So that quote that I just showed, that clip, was from a movie called Bridge of Spies. And it is hands down the one quote, movie quote, that I play through my head whenever I'm in a clutch situation or a highly stressful situation. So to um, give that clip context, Tom Hanks's character is an insurance lawyer who's been tasked with defending a person uh, who is being charged with espionage. And Tom Hanks's character had just explained to his client that right before the clip that everyone in the US government wants to have you executed. And for most people, they would probably be freaking out. And so Tom Hanks' character in the clip says, "You don't seem to be alarmed by this." And his client calmly says, "Would it help?" And I love that quote um, because it reminds me of not letting your anxiety get the best of you and try to control the things you can control. And that is the thing that's going to keep you centered. That's the thing that's going to keep you from completely losing your when it really matters the most. And 2 weeks ago, exactly, looking at the time, exactly, that I had that situation. And in the World Championships, for the event that I trained for a whole year, flew all halfway across the world to compete in, and I played that clip in my head, and it's what kept me centered. And in that case, I thought I had 2 hours to prepare to race. I immediately knew as soon as I stepped into the velodrome and into the pit that I wasn't feeling well, and it wasn't nerves, and I knew I was sick. It was too late to turn back. Betsy was with me, my wife was with me, and I had already said hello to a gazillion people. And again, it's like, well, you're here, you're in France, you're in the north of France, and um, tonight you're going to race against the best in the world, and you're not feeling well, but c'est la vie. That is what it is. And to further compound things, I found out instead of the leisurely 2 hour warm up routine, preparation routine that I had and that I prepared for that evening was actually cut in half by an hour. I had just under an hour to prepare to have, hopefully, the race of my life. And again, it's one of these situations like, well, Will, you have two choices here. You can completely freak out, lose your mind, snap at Betsy, be short with everyone, and make this experience more tense and anxiety ridden than it needs to be or can be. Or you can approach it calmly and control the things that you can control, and therefore make the experience a little bit more pleasant. And I chose the latter. And into that, uh, you know, I broke it down immediately when I got the news from my buddy Charles, like, "Hey, Will, we're going to go up in an hour," that they accelerated the program. And I had two choices there. I could just completely freak out and just go all over the place because I had like 10 million things to get done before I even raced. Or I should calmly, in my mind, quickly run through that checklist and that timetable I have for the 2 hours and condense it into a rational 1 hour. And what can I get done in that period? And so I did that. I was in the process of putting my bike together. It's like, well, you can't race without a bike. Put the bike together. 2, get dressed. 3, get the bike checked out, meaning having the officials verify that your bike is worthy of racing and that it meets the basic requirement. And then lastly, warm up for said event. And the very, very last part is just get ready and head up to where you need to be the side of the track that you're going to be taking off on. And I did that. And the funny thing is on a side note, like part of my warm up, my quote unquote warm up, and don't prepare or race like Will, but I generally prepare for hard efforts with minimal warm up, or I should say, the minimal effective dose of warm up. And this was a great example. In fact, to the point where Betsy was literally sitting with me the entire time. I was solely focused on getting done what I needed to get done. And she remarked later on, like, you really didn't warm up at all. It's like, yeah, it's like, well, this is what I trained for. And having that 2-hour window cut down in half just sucked, but it plays into what I'm good at, is being able to go to a maximal effort with minimal, well, from the outside, minimal preparation. And it worked like a charm. And then to take it a little further, it's that last little step of getting warmed up, everything ready to go, shoe covers on, number pinned, everything ready, and then going up and waiting to race. This is the part in particular that reinforces that quote. I was the first heat of my event, and I remember watching a person in the event before mine, in the kilometer time trial, or 750 meter, and I remember seeing him actually shake. I didn't mention this in the video before, and I remember watching his hands tremor. And that gives you an idea. And keep in mind, this is the world championship. I don't know this guy, don't know how much he's trained, how much weight he puts on that particular effort that he was about to do. But I know for most people coming to the world championships, it's a big, big, big deal. It is for me, for certain. And watching him literally not convulse, but hands visibly shaking, reinforce like how much stress this is. To the layperson, you have no idea. And in my case, if that were me, it is the culmination of training for a whole year for, in my case, less than 35 seconds worth of work. Nothing can literally go wrong because you are measured by thousandth of a second. And I could see how I would be in a position where I was shaking. You're being locked into a gate that a large percentage of people fail at mastering and exiting. And you can lose the race in that opening 3/4 of a second, maybe a second, if you do it really, really wrong. And seeing him shake, it was a reminder, like, how much pressure we are under, that we put ourselves under. And that is the sticking point. It's how much pressure we put ourselves under. And I chose that moment to not look at the gentleman, but more importantly, be reminded of the quote. And what can I control? Did I prepare for that moment? The moment that's going to come to me when it's my turn to be wheeled up there, carried up there, and locked into the gate. And yeah, I did the preparation. I did all the work. There's nothing to be worried about. If I didn't do that, then in my mind, I would think, yeah, you should be worried. You should be shaking. But I felt at that moment, and I like to think in the last few years, whenever I go into these moments, I've done the work. It's whether or not I did enough of the work, and whether or not I was calm enough to allow that work to shine. And got up there, and what I love is the pictures of me sitting there calmly, totally upright, just just waiting to go with 50 seconds on the clock. When it gets down to just under 30, I'll lean it forward and get settled in. And it's those moments instead of being, and I remember times like this where I'm like down in the drops, just ready to go, and where I could just be relaxing. And um, I'll always remember those photos of me sitting up and just letting serenity now hit me, and not letting me freak out, because I've done starts ad nauseum, not negate, but I've done starts ad nauseum up until that point. And whether or not I did them right, we'll find out in a moment. And that's why I love that quote, is you have to think about the things that you can control, and you have to trust the process that got you there, and trust the fact that you've done, in the time you've had allotted, you've done the appropriate amount of work to prepare you for that. And if you've done all that things, there really shouldn't be anything for you to worry about. If you want to trust fate, a higher power, whatever, so be it. But if you did all the work, then there's nothing to worry about. So again, I don't think I know anyone that refers to that quote, but it has been playing in my head for years now. Not even the man in the arena, which is on my heat pump in the gym, which is a quote that a lot of people do. LeBron in particular use to visualize, LeBron in particular. But for me, it's that Bridge of Spies clip. And it's funny because I hadn't watched it in years. So it's kind of funny, like what you think the clip is, and what it is in reality. And it's not as dramatic, I think, after watching it for the first time in a long time. But in my mind, the message is just worry about the things that you can worry about the things that you can control, and everything else, just let it go, because it's just going to cause a negative spiral. Thanks for watching.